Greetings everyone, my name is Gigi and this is Let's Build, wherein I build a Lego set, time to different media, and talk about the facts concerning the topic of the build. Today's build is the Lego Harry Potter Hogwarts Castle versus Hogwarts Legacy. The footage I'm using for this game is for science, educational, and research purposes. My content is transformative and protected under fair use. All footage is time-lapse with commentary. I apologize in advance for pronouncing names and/or places incorrectly. Spoilers ahead for Harry Potter. You have been warned. Specifications of the Lego set. Make the magic come alive at the Lego Harry Potter Hogwarts Castle. This highly detailed Lego Harry Potter collectible has over 6,000 pieces and offers a rewarding build experience. It comes packed with highlights from the Harry Potter series, where you will discover towers, turrets, chambers, classrooms, creatures, the Whomping Willow, and Hagrid's hut, plus many more iconic features. And with 4 minifigures, 27 microfigures featuring students, professors, and statues, plus 5 Dementors, this advanced building set makes the perfect Harry Potter gift. Includes 4 minifigures of Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Salazar Slytherin, and Rowena Ravenclaw, with a buildable minifigure display stand. Also features the 27 microfigures, Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, Hermione Granger, Draco Malfoy, Albus Dumbledore, Professor Snape, Professor McGonagall, Remus Lupin, Professor Dolores Umbridge, Argus Filch, Lord Voldemort, Bellatrix Lestrange, 3 students from each of the 4 houses, 2 chess pieces, and the Architect of Hogwarts statue and 5 Dementors, plus Aragog the Spider and the Basilisk figures, and a buildable Hungarian horntail dragon. Features a buildable microscale model of Hogwarts Castle, Hut of Hagrid, the Whomping Willow, and 5 boats. Hogwarts Castle features the Great Hall with buildable stained glass windows, house banners, benches, tables, flaming torches, and moving staircases, potions classroom with racks of jar elements, defense against the dark arts classroom with assorted potion jars, gramophone and closet containing a boggart, chessboard chamber with chess piece elements, room of requirement with assorted elements including the goblet of fire and the vanishing cabinet, chamber of secrets with the basilisk and Tom Riddle's diary, hidden devil's snare room with vine elements, Gryffindor common room with fireplace and seating, Professor Dolores Umbridge's office with desk, chair, and pink furnishings, library with bookcase and desk, and Professor Dumbledore's office with the Griffin statue entrance and a memory cabinet. Hagrid's hut features Aragog the Spider and buildable pumpkins. The Whomping Willow includes the buildable blue flying Ford Angelia and its spinning branches. Also includes 5 buildable boats. Take a seat in the Great Hall and feast with the Hogwarts professors and students. Sneak your way into the Chamber of Secrets through the secret entrance and face the basilisk. Attend a Defense Against the Dark Arts class to learn how to protect yourself from dark magic. Climb the moving staircases. Study your ordinary wizarding level exams in the library. Accessory elements include the Sword of Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff's cup, wands, potions, house banners, flames, a cauldron, and 2 magnifying glasses. Microfigure accessories include 2 chess statues and the Architect of Hogwarts statue. The Hogwarts Castle measures over 22 inches high, 27 inches wide, and 16 inches deep. Help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it. Albus Dumbledore. Begin a magical journey with this detailed replica of the iconic Hogwarts Castle. Explore the prestigious School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Experience a micro-scale Lego model build from over 6,000 pieces and packed with authentic details for a rewarding building experience. Discover the intricately designed chambers, towers, classrooms, and many other hidden features depicting scenes from the Harry Potter series, and recreate the movie's pivotal moments of magic and adventure. The set also contains 27 microfigures, including Harry, Hermione, and Ron, in addition to the spellbinding assortment of iconic accessories and artifacts. There's magic in the details. Translating the magical on-screen locations into a Lego model in microscale was an exciting design challenge. To represent the key architectural structures, iconic silhouettes, and details in tiny bricks, while retaining the unforgettable look and feel of the movies, was not an easy task. In the Great Hall, many elements include the tables, fire pits, and house banners that had to be scaled to fit into the model. Recreating the iconic Wizard's chess game in the small space available in the model meant halving the proportions of the chessboard. By making this compromise, there was also room to have the base of another tower in the model. In the movie series, Professor Snape says that students in his potions class were there to learn the subtle science and exact art of potion making. Therefore, our vision of the classroom had to be filled with all the equipment that witches and wizards would need, including multiple shelves of potions, classroom desks featuring small cauldrons, and golden scripture detailing on the walls. We hope fans enjoy building their Hogwarts moments, and that these small details bring the model to life and help the story live on. The 4 Founders. Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry was founded by Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Salazar Slytherin, and Rowena Ravenclaw in the 10th century. Each of the 4 founders then created their own house at the school. For many years, all was well amongst the founders. However, a rift appeared when Salazar Slytherin suggested that only pupils from pure-blood magical families should be eligible to attend Hogwarts. Godric Gryffindor. Godric valued courage and was known for his own bravery and skills as an accomplished dueler. Godric was the original owner of the Sorting Hat, and also the Sword of Gryffindor that would present itself to any true Gryffindor in a moment of need. Helga Hufflepuff. Helga strongly believed in justice and loyalty, values on which the Hufflepuff house stands. She was particularly gifted at food-related charms and was the talent behind many traditional Hogwarts recipes. Helga's portrait can be seen in the Hufflepuff common room, toasting her students with her golden cup that was passed down to her descendants for centuries. Salazar Slytherin. Salazar was a highly talented wizard, as one of the first recorded Parselmouths, and was accomplished in legilimens. He was also a notorious champion of pure blood supremacy, and his hostile nature to Muggle-borns created a great divide and led to his departure from the school. Before he left, he built a secret room inside the castle with a great statue of himself and a monster inside that only he could control. Rowena Ravenclaw. Above all else, Rowena Ravenclaw valued intelligence and was regarded as one of the greatest witches of her age. Rowena also wore a diadem that was said to grant wisdom to the wearer. Legend has it that a broken heart contributed to her early demise. Her daughter Helena, the Grey Lady, became the Ravenclaw house ghost. The microfigures. Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, Hermione Granger, Draco Malfoy, Albus Dumbledore, Professor McGonagall, Severus Snape, Remus Lupin, Professor Dolores Umbridge, Argus Filch, Gryffindor students, Hufflepuff students, Slytherin students, and Ravenclaw students, Lord Voldemort, Bellatrix Lestrange, some chess pieces, statue of the Hogwarts architect, and Dementors. About the LEGO design team. The project team for this model consisted of model designers, graphic designers, element designers, the marketing team, building instructions developers, a model coach who assists if the model was designed correctly, and a design lead who has the overview of the full project, among others. From Justin Ramsden, LEGO model designer. It has been a few years since the last LEGO Hogwarts Castle was released. Even at its micro scale, this is the 8th and largest Hogwarts Castle LEGO model to date. Another LEGO designer, Joel Baker, designed a sketch model of the castle, so this was the starting point. I took over with the challenge of making that sketch into a model for fans. My design approach focused on capturing the essence of Hogwarts, its iconic silhouette, the exciting feeling of going back to school and starting a new adventure. I wanted to recreate all the iconic locations from the castle and moments from the movie series in micro detail, including the moving staircases, the Whomping Willow, Professor Lupin's Boggart lesson in the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom, and the Basilisk encounter in the Chamber of Secrets. For this model, we also managed to develop 3 new LEGO building elements that helped further capture the fantastic architecture detail of Hogwarts. I was very excited to include these 2 new window arch elements and a half-cone piece into the model, as I am not only very eager to see how the fans will use the elements in new and exciting ways, but I can't wait to see the new building opportunities that they bring to the LEGO building system. As a LEGO model designer, you can either work digitally or just get on your hands and knees and start building. The latter is how I approach it, making iteration after iteration until I get the final project. During the design process, I tend to keep as many of the previous sketches from the castle as I can, so that I can see the physical progression from concept to finished model. Many of the sketch models have very unusual color schemes, as I tend to use interesting colors when I build with whatever bricks are closest to hand. One detail that LEGO fans may not notice is that the piece count of the Hogwarts Castle is 6,020 elements. This is personally significant for me because it is the set number of a classic LEGO castle model that I had when I was 5 years old, a small model that, coincidentally, featured a wizard. It was this set, among others, which inspired me to become a LEGO designer. Furthermore, as 2018 is the 60th anniversary of the LEGO brick, I hid the iconic 2x4 red brick in as many places as I could. Crystal Mary Fontaine, LEGO graphic designer. I worked closely with Justin and fellow LEGO graphic designer Georgiy Georgievic, with support from other graphic designers, in creating all the characters for the model, as well as the stickers and decorated elements. Generally, with the stickers for models, less is more. Stickers are also important to bring in that layer of magic and storytelling from Harry Potter series. For example, small details such as depicting the door to the room of requirement or the keys in the flying key room can only be achieved via stickers at this scale. Stickers were also where all the magical secrets get embedded into the model. This was a great project to work on because I am such a big fan of the Harry Potter series. It's like working in a magical universe. I really want other fans to enjoy the models, stickers, and decorations that we have created for them. There is so much information about the castle that I am going to focus on areas that are highlighted in the set. Hogwarts Castle was a large 7-story high building supported by magic, with 142 staircases throughout its many towers and turrets, and very deep dungeons. The castle was built over 1,000 years before Harry Potter's time by a wizard architect and the four most celebrated wizards of the age, Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin. The castle was the main building of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, regarded as the finest wizarding school in the world. Hogwarts was built in a valley area. Surrounding mountains were part of the landscape, with fairly large Great Lake to the south of the main building. The huge main oak front doors that led into the entrance hall faced west and opened up to the sloping lawns. The deep, forbidden forest extended around to the west of the castle. There were also exterior greenhouses and vegetable patches on the school grounds. Hogwarts is located in the Scottish Highlands, near the all-wizard village of Hogsmeade, and not far from Dufftown, in Moray and Etchnee in Lochaber. It was the setting of the final battle of the Second Wizarding War, the Battle of Hogwarts, which resulted in the deaths of several witches and wizards who fought in defiance of the castle, including Remus Lupin, Nymphadora Tonks, Fred Weasley, Colin Creevey, Lavender Brown, and Severus Snape. The castle was badly damaged in the battle, but ultimately the Order of the Phoenix won and Harry Potter defeated his nemesis Lord Voldemort in the Great Hall. Due to its extremely advanced age and the sheer amount of magic present in and or around it, the castle was implied to have developed some form of sentience or awareness, such as when it sealed the headmaster's tower against Dolores Umbridge in 1996, and the various trick steps and false doors. Hogwarts Castle was also the most haunted location in Great Britain, being home to many ghosts. Magic. The castle was supported by magic, unable to be maintained or constructed by any other means, good examples being the moving staircases and the ever-changing floor plan, features contributed by one of the four Hogwarts founders, Rowena Ravenclaw. Hogwarts was also protected by numerous ancient spells, such as the anti-disapparition jinx. This could, however, be overwritten by the head of the school when necessary. It was also unplottable and bewitched so that if muggles approached the castle, all they would see would be a moldering ruin, with a sign warning them to keep out and that it was unsafe. Nevertheless, muggles would presumably see the castle if they were invited or otherwise aware of its existence, as was the case with Jacob Kowalski in 1932. The protective magic over Hogwarts appeared to repel even talented dark wizards. Rubeus Hagrid claimed that Hogwarts was the safest place there was, even more so than Gringotts Wizarding Bank, a reason why the Philosopher's Stone was sent to the castle for protection. After the Ministry finally admitted that Lord Voldemort had returned in 96, the castle's defenses were further increased. Much of them were cast by Albus Dumbledore himself, such as the gates being locked with spells that can only be undone by teachers, and spells to prevent entrance via broomsticks and wall scaling. All of the secret passageways that were previously allegedly unknown were given more protection. Additionally, with members of the Order of the Phoenix and Aurors placed as guards, and caretaker Argus Filch checking all incoming and outgoing students for dangerous materials, intrusion seemed completely impossible. However, Draco Malfoy utilized a pair of vanishing cabinets as a passageway, which none of the castle's defenses could negate, to allow Death Eaters into the castle. This devastatingly horrified the wizarding community as they realized that Hogwarts, the most powerful and reputably safest magical stronghold in the entire wizarding world, had been breached, no less than by a student from the inside, meaning there was no longer anywhere safe from Voldemort and his Death Eaters. As a result of all the magic that occurred on the premises, both from learning students, magical artifacts therein, and the enchantments cast over the building itself, a magical atmosphere pervaded the entire structure, causing any technology that was not adapted to run off of it to fail. This was presumably why candles and lanterns were used for light. Mechanical things like watches seemed to do all right, as Colin Creevy's traditional Muggle camera seemed to have worked until it was destroyed by the basilisk's eyes. Colin mentioned that another student told him that he could develop the pictures in a potion so that they moved. One of his pictures showed Harry trying to escape a picture of him and Gilderoy Lockhart. The layout. Below the ground floor. The Chamber of Secrets. The Chamber of Secrets was allegedly created deep under the dungeons of Hogwarts Castle during the medieval times by Salazar Slytherin, who disagreed with the other Hogwarts founders on the merits of blood purity. The Chamber of Secrets was home to an ancient basilisk, which was intended to be used to purge the school of Muggle-born students. The entrance could be found in Moaning Myrtle's bathroom on the second floor. In order to gain entrance, one had to say "open" in Parseltongue, and a sink would open into a slide. While falling from the large, dark pipe, one could see hundreds of other pipes leading off. At the end of the pipe was one was launched into a damp stone chamber. This room was stated to be miles beneath the school and under the lake. This was where Tom Marvolo Riddle used his ability to speak Parseltongue and attack Harry Potter. The dungeons. The dungeons of Hogwarts Castle were located under the school, and it was colder there than in the main castle. Potions Classroom. The Potions Classroom was where potions classes were taught. The classroom used to be square-sized, very large, with large tables and windows. From 1995 to 1996, the classroom was an oval shape and relatively smaller, with small work tables. In 96, the classroom was extended, adding space for more tables. Potions Basement. There was a storage basement under the potions classroom at Hogwarts Castle. It was accessible via a trap door and was used to store cauldrons, ingredients, and files. Philosopher's Stone Chambers. These chambers were a series of rooms underneath Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry that served as the defenses surrounding the Philosopher's Stone during the 1991 to 92 school year. There were 7 chambers in total that contained an obstacle or task that guarded the stone against being stolen. One was Fluffy, stationed in the third-floor corridor, guarding the trap door. 2 was the Devil's Snare Room. 3, Room with Winged Keys. 4, the Chessboard Chamber. 5 was a Troll Chamber. 6, the Potion Riddle. And 7 was the Mirror of Erised. The film omitted 2 of these chambers, the Troll Chamber and Potion Riddle Chamber. The Boathouse. The boathouse was an underground harbor at Hogwarts where the boats were stored and docked after bringing the first years to the castle every September 1st. Up until 1995, a portrait of Percival Pratt hung on the walls, concealing a shortcut to the grand staircase. After Pratt's portrait was removed, there were only 3 entrances to this building: the path outside the paved courtyard, the stairs down from the viaduct courtyard, and the Great Lake. Ground floor. Entrance hall. The Hogwarts entrance hall was located on the ground floor of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, with a wide marble staircase opposite the oak doors. Double doors to the right led to the Great Hall. The basement, the kitchens, the dungeons, and the grand staircase could also be accessed via the entrance hall. Chamber of Reception. The Chamber of Reception was a little building before the entrance hall where Professor Minerva McGonagall made first-year students wait before the sorting ceremony and the start-of-term feast. The Viaduct Courtyard. The Viaduct Courtyard was located off the entrance hall. This courtyard replaced the entrance hall antechamber beyond 1994. The Great Hall. The Great Hall in Hogwarts was the main gathering area in the school. Students ate their meals, received daily owl posts, and had certain special events. The Great Hall was a large hall that could easily hold all of the school's students, staff, and guests. It had tall walls that reached up to the ceiling, which was enchanted to look like the sky above. It was the scene of Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort's final showdown, which was the Dark Lord's ultimate defeat. This was because the Elder Wand refused to kill its true master, so Harry could not be killed. Since Voldemort was now a mortal man, the curse rebounded on him, killing Tom Marvolo Riddle once and for all. Staff room. The staff room was a long, paneled room with mismatched, dark wooden chairs. There was a wardrobe inside, which was once home to a boggart. The entrance to this room was guarded by 2 talking stone gargoyles. The Transfiguration Courtyard. This was one of the cloisters in the inner part of Hogwarts Castle. This courtyard had grass in the open area, in which a big tree had grown over the centuries. There was one massive iron armillary sphere that stood in the center of the courtyard. Transfiguration Department. This was a wing at Hogwarts Castle containing the rooms dedicated to the teaching of Transfiguration. The Transfiguration Department was presumably located around the middle courtyard area, including such rooms as Classroom 1B. Transfiguration Classroom. This classroom was where the Transfiguration class was taught. The classroom was located on the ground floor around the middle courtyard. The classroom itself was big, surrounded by high windows, had 4 rows of 3 desks, and still had enough room for several cages and bookshelves, 2 chalkboards, and a desk. Viaduct entrance. This was a big chamber which connected the viaduct to the first floor by a staircase that led to the tapestry corridor. There was also an archway that led down to the potion staircase to the dungeon corridor. The Quad. This courtyard was located on the Hogwarts Castle exterior area. It was connected to the viaduct and the boathouse. The Viaduct. This viaduct was constructed out of stone and extended all the way down to the lake. It was connected to the viaduct courtyard at one end and was connected to the left long viaduct tower and the right long viaduct tower. Grand Staircase. The Grand Staircase was a massive structure in Hogwarts Castle, mainly used to access each floor of the castle, including the dungeons. There were hundreds of portraits covering the walls in this tower, some of which concealed secret passages to other areas within the school. Multiple staircases in the Grand Staircase led from platform to platform and went as high as the 7th floor, where they came to an end. The first floor. Defense against the Dark Arts classroom. This classroom was where Defense of the Dark Arts class was taught. An iron chandelier hung from the ceiling, as well as a dragon skeleton. On one end of the classroom stood a projector that was activated by magic. Several desks and tables could be found in the classroom, as well as some sets of large windows. The classroom decoration had several changes over the years, spanning from lots of pictures of Gilderoy Lockhart to tons of skeletons and shrunken heads. Stone Bridge. The stone bridge was next to the suspension bridge. It connected the main first-floor corridor of the Stone Bridge Tower with the tapestry corridor in the viaduct entrance. The quad battlements. There were battlements all around the top of the quad at Hogwarts Castle. These battlements were used by Hogwarts defense during the Battle of Hogwarts. They were heavily damaged during the course of battle, parts of the floor falling in, revealing the corridors below. Second floor. The second floor corridor. Second floor corridor was located on both sides of the castle on the second floor. Defense against the Dark Arts professor's office. The office was used by the Defense against the Dark Arts professor at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and was located on the second floor of the castle. It was connected to the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom by 2 staircases. Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. This girls' lavatory, also known as Moaning Myrtle's bathroom, was situated on the second floor of Hogwarts Castle. It had been out of order ever since a student named Myrtle was killed by Salazar Slytherin's basilisk on the orders of Tom Riddle, the heir of Slytherin. Myrtle haunted the bathroom ever since, leading it to be a place most students did not want to enter. This bathroom held the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets. Third floor. Clock Tower entrance. This was one of the 3 main entrances of Hogwarts Castle. It consisted of a large open space at the base of the clock tower, with 2 stairwells going up toward the upper levels of the tower. Opposite the main entry was a large window. A portrait of Damara Doddridge was hung there, and in 1995 so was a portrait of Temeritus Shanks. The massive pendulum of the clock swung over this entrance. The entrance could be sealed with a portcullis, which could be lowered and raised with the aid of a lever, and the massive double doors could be locked with numerous bolts. Library. The library was located on the 3rd and 4th floors of Hogwarts School and contained tens of thousands of books on thousands of shelves. Overseen by Madame Irma Pince, the library was where students could go to peruse or borrow books to supplement their studies or for personal enjoyment. The library closed at 8 p.m. every day. 7th floor. The Room of Requirement. The Room of Requirement was a secret room in Hogwarts that only appeared when a person was in great need of it. The room transformed itself into whatever the witch or wizard needed it to be at that moment. It was believed that the room was unplottable, as it did not appear on the Marauder's map, nor did its occupants, although this could simply be because James Potter, Remus Lupin, Sirius Black, and Peter Pettigrew, who were the Marauders, never found the room. Staircases. This castle has 142 staircases. Towers. The Astronomy Tower. The Astronomy Tower was the tallest tower at Hogwarts Castle, surrounded by a parapet and turret. This is where students studied the stars and planets through their telescopes in astronomy lessons with Professor Aurora Sinistra. This was usually done at midnight when the stars were best seen. The tower was usually out of bounds except for classes. All the way down from the boathouse, one could see the huge window of the Astronomy Tower. Bell towers. The bell towers were two towers that rose over the main entrance to the herbology greenhouses. Between the two towers was a set of double wooden doors which led along the ground floor corridor. Inside the left bell tower was Filch's office. Clock tower. The clock tower did not begin at the ground floor level. Because it was placed on top of a hill, the tower began at the third floor level. In the entrance to the tower, there was a huge space, like an entrance hall with flights of wooden stairs at the right and left side. The first landing was at the fourth floor level. It was at this landing where the clock's gears and face were. The same corridor connected the tower to the remaining castle. Up another flight of wooden stairs was another landing, this time at the fifth floor level. It was in this landing that the clock's bells were, some massive gold and copper bells. There was another corridor at this landing. Like the other, it linked the tower to the main castle. Dark Tower. The Dark Tower was a small but high tower near the Transfiguration courtyard at Hogwarts. This tower seemed to be used as a prison. It had several prison cells, with the topmost being at the roof. The cells were not, however, charmed or otherwise protected against break-ins from the outside. It had 7 floors. Defense against the Dark Arts Tower. Hogwarts Taurus Magnus was among the largest towers of Hogwarts Castle. It stood next to the viaduct entrance, overlooking the suspension bridge and the training grounds. It had a semicircular shape. Grand Staircase Tower. The Marble Staircase Tower was one of many towers of Hogwarts Castle. It was one of the most prominent and recognizable features of the tower, dominating the skyline near the Great Hall and the quad. The tower was extremely large, spanning all 7 floors as well as the basement level and countless attic-level rooms, judging from the many dormer windows in its conical roof. There were also 3 smaller turrets on the roof of this tower. Gryffindor Tower. Gryffindor Tower was located behind the portrait of the Fat Lady on the 7th floor of Hogwarts Castle. A password was required to enter it, which was spoken to the portrait. A circular hole was behind the painting, leading to the common room, which was a circular room where Gryffindor students could relax after a long day of studying. The common room was full of squashy armchairs, tables, and a bulletin board where student notices, ads, lost posters, and etc. could be posted. A window looked out onto the grounds of the school, and a large fireplace dominated one wall. The Gryffindor dormitories were also located in the tower, with 2 doors leading off from the common room that opened into spiral staircases. One of them led to the girls' dormitory, the other to the boys'. The stairs to the girls' dormitories were enchanted to become a slide if any boy attempted to climb them, but not vice versa, since it was deemed that girls were more trustworthy than boys. Headmaster's Tower. The headmaster's office was located within this tower. To gain entrance, a password had to be given to a stone gargoyle, which would move aside at the correct password to reveal a spiral staircase with moving steps. The office was a circular room with windows decorated with portraits of previous headmasters, including Dilys Derwent and Phineas Nigellus Black. Many magical instruments were kept here, such as the sorting hat and the pensieve. Hospital Tower. The Hospital Tower was one of many towers of Hogwarts Castle which had a semi-ovular shape. It was located on one side of the quad and was at the end of the hospital corridor which connected the clock tower to the rest of the castle. On the fourth floor of the tower was the hospital wing and school matron's office. There was also a staircase that led to the fourth floor corridor and, by extension, to the grand staircase. North Tower. The North Tower was one of many towers in the castle. The tower was the location for divination classes and the divination teacher's office. The entrance consisted of a ladder leading through a trapdoor. Ravenclaw Tower. Ravenclaw Tower was located on the west side of Hogwarts. The staircase leading up to the common room was presumably located on the fifth floor, and was the location of the Ravenclaw common room and dormitories. Stone Bridge Tower. This was one of the 4 towers surrounding the quad. It overlooked the stone bridge. The first floor landing of the tower went over here, connecting the first floor corridor to the stone bridge. West Tower. The owlry was located on the top of this tower. During the winter months, the tower was very cold, to the point that one had to be careful with ice on the higher landings. A tightly spiraling staircase led from the bottom of the tower onto the 7th floor up to a door leading out onto the battlements. The grounds. Gamekeeper's Hut. The Gamekeeper's Hut was located on the edge of the Forbidden Forest. Rubeus Hagrid, the gamekeeper during Harry Potter's time at Hogwarts, lived here for many years. The Clock Tower Courtyard. The Clock Tower Courtyard was a cloister on the base of the clock tower at Hogwarts. This cloister seemed to be one of the older parts of the castle, and the ceiling and walls were dilapidated. It also led to the wooden bridge. Behind the scenes. When explaining the concept of legitimacy to Harry Potter, Snape said that many ancient spells and charms guard the Hogwarts walls and grounds, ensuring the inhabitants' safety. It's seen that the interiors are not equal to the exteriors of Hogwarts, with examples of curved walls inside and then straight walls outside, wide inside but narrow from the outside. But this is possibly because Hogwarts is supported by magic. Hogwarts Legacy is a 2023 action role-playing game developed by Avalanche Software and published by Warner Bros. Games under its Portkey Games label. It is part of the Wizarding World franchise, taking place a century before Harry Potter novels. Players control a student enrolled at the magical Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, who attends classes, learns spells, and explores an open-world version of Hogwarts and its surroundings. With the assistance of fellow students and professors, the protagonist embarks on a journey to uncover an ancient secret hidden within the wizarding world. Following Warner Bros.' acquisition of Avalanche Software in 2017, Hogwarts Legacy became the studio's first project unrelated to Disney Interactive Studios since 2005. Development began around 2018 and cost an estimated $150 million to produce. The storyline was designed to take place in a period untouched by established Wizarding World characters, offering players the opportunity to immerse themselves in their own distinct universe. Avalanche emphasized the importance of having the game resemble the Harry Potter novels, while also expanding beyond known locations to enrich the experience. Hogwarts Legacy was highly anticipated. The early access period of Hogwarts Legacy resulted in record-breaking viewership on streaming platform Twitch, making it the most watched single-player game on the platform. Following some delays, it was released on the 10th of February 2023 for PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series XS, on the 5th of May 2023 for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and on 14th of November 2023 for Nintendo Switch. A Nintendo Switch 2 version was released on the 5th of June 2025. Hogwarts Legacy received praise for its combat, world design, characters, variety of content, and faithfulness to the source material, but criticism for its technical problems and lack of innovation as an open-world game. In its first 2 weeks, it sold over 12 million copies and generated $850 million in global sales and revenue. It became one of the best-selling video games, selling 34 million copies and reaching $1 billion in total revenue. Hogwarts Legacy appeared on several publications' year-end lists and received accolades including nominations at the BAFTA Games Awards, DICE Dice Awards, and Grammy Awards. Synopsis: Setting and characters. Hogwarts Legacy is set in the 1890s at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry and its surrounding areas. The areas include Magical Village Hogsmeade and the Scottish Highlands, influenced by the Wizarding World franchise. Players take on the role of a student starting their studies at Hogwarts in the 5th year. The protagonist can control a mysterious form of ancient magic and holds the key to ancient secret that threatens the stability of the Wizarding World. Their mission is to discover the reasons behind the resurgence of this forgotten magic and those who are trying to harness its power. Players encounter various characters, with the most relevant being their professors and fellow students. Professor Elazar Fig, a wizard who teaches magic theory at Hogwarts, is a central ally throughout the protagonist's adventure. The other characters include Hogwarts students Emmett Thacker and Everett Clopton, Professor Onai and Shah, as well as Headmaster Phineas Nigillis Black and Professor Matilda Weasley. The protagonist also partners with students Natsai Onai, Poppy Sweeting, Sebastian Sallow, Ominous Gaunt, who take part in their journey as companion characters. Antagonists include Ranrock, the leader of the Goblin Rebellion, and Victor Rookwood, the leader of a group of dark wizards. Plot: the protagonist receives a letter from Professor Matilda Weasley, which confirms their attendance at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry as a 5th-year student, and assigns Professor Elazar Fig as the protagonist's mentor. Fig escorts the protagonist from London to Hogwarts via a flying coach. While investigating an unknown artifact, a dragon attacks them, prompting the two to reach for a portkey hidden inside the artifact that teleports them to the Scottish Highlands. In the Highlands, they find a ruin with a portal to Gringotts. Using the portkey to enter the old vault, the protagonist learns that they can see traces of ancient magic. The duo is confronted by a hostile goblin named Ranrock before escaping to Hogwarts. where the protagonist is sorted into one of the 4 houses. The protagonist learns various spells during classes and goes on a trip to Hogsmeade with a companion, where a troll sent by Ranrock attacks them and is defeated by them. The protagonist also sneaks into the library and finds a book with missing pages. While Fig studies the book, the protagonist locates the missing pages and finds a secret room below Hogwarts known as the Map Chamber. The protagonist visits the Map Chamber several times with Fig later in the game. They talk to the portraits of 4 deceased Hogwarts professors who refer to themselves as the Keepers, whose goal is to protect the secrets of ancient magic from the wizarding world. To reveal the secrets of ancient magic, the protagonist completes 4 trials left by the Keepers. The trials feature complicated puzzles and dangerous tasks that require the skills the protagonist has acquired. Each trial leads to a pensieve, a magical device used to store and review memories. The protagonist learns from the memories in the pensieves about Isadora Morganac, a Hogwarts student who became a professor with abilities similar to the protagonist. Isadora was in conflict with the Keepers and left behind a repository of ancient magic after using it to extract negative emotions, particularly from her suffering father. The Keepers realized that Isadora was inhaling the extracted emotions to increase her own power and failed to dissuade her, forcing one of them to eliminate her with the killing curse. Through their adventures, the protagonist also learns that Ranrock, the leader of an ongoing goblin rebellion against wizards, seeks to find the repository and exploit it for his own ends. He collaborates with a group of dark wizards led by Victor Rookwood, a descendant of one of the Keepers, to locate it. After the protagonist completes all 4 trials, they receive one final task from the Keepers: to create a special type of magic wand from the artifacts found at the pensieves. Fig sends the protagonist to Gerbold Ollivander, the wand maker, to craft the special wand. As the protagonist leaves Ollivander's, they are ambushed by Rookwood, who proposes an alliance against the goblins. The protagonist refuses, resulting in a battle in which the protagonist manages to defeat him. The protagonist and Professor Fig find the repository intact, and the protagonist makes their choice between keeping the ancient magic sealed away or absorbing the power for themselves. Ranrock then locates Isadora's repository, absorbs the ancient power, and transforms himself into a dragon. Fig is mortally wounded, and the protagonist battles the dragon. The protagonist defeats Ranrock, which ends the Goblin Rebellion, and they proceed with the choice they made of what to do with the magic. Regardless of their choice, Fig dies, and Headmaster Phineas Nigellus Black and Weasley hold a eulogy in honor of him. The protagonist returns to finish regular school studies and prepare for the OWL exams at the end of the year. They also continue to explore the castle's surrounding areas and go through adventures with companions Sebastian Sallow, Omnis Gaunt, Poppy Sweeting, and Natsai Onai, if they have not completed them already. The journey ends with Weasley awarding the protagonist 100 house points for the extraordinary adventure, which ultimately leads to a win of the House Cup for their respective house. Gameplay. Hogwarts Legacy is an action role-playing game played from a third-person perspective. Players create their character by customizing features such as voice, appearance, and complexion. They choose whether to be housed in a witch or wizard dormitory and select one of the 4 Hogwarts houses, guided by the Sorting Hat. Each Hogwarts house, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin, features a unique common room accessible only to its members and exclusive quests. Attending and completing classes is essential to progression, as it unlocks gameplay mechanics such as broom flight. As the game advances, the player character learns to cast spells, brew potions, and master combat abilities, eventually developing a personalized combat style. Experience points earned through combat, quests, and exploration allow players to level up and enhance their spells, talents, and abilities. Players can engage in various non-player characters, or NPCs, and some of them become companions. These companions provide dedicated quest lines focused on relationships and can join players in select missions. Players can also explore related areas such as Hogsmeade, the Forbidden Forest, and the Room of Requirement. Hogsmeade offers a variety of shops and establishments, including the sweet shop Honeydukes and Hogshead Tavern. The Forbidden Forest features familiar magical creatures such as centaurs and spiders. The Room of Requirement features environmental customization elements. Players can modify the room with various objects as they progress. It can be fully personalized, and its architecture can be changed. The room serves as a space to store and maintain utility items such as brewing stations and planting pots, which can also be customized. The room further features vivariums, which are areas for magical beasts. Players can tame, care for, and ride various creatures, including hippogriffs and thestrals. Once caught, these creatures can be kept in vivariums. Other magical creatures available for interaction include unicorns, keezels, and puffskeins. Plants grown or acquired can be used in combat, such as mandrakes, which can stun enemies. Players can explore the open-world map at their own pace. Different areas offer a range of activities, and players face various enemies such as goblins, poachers, and trolls. Certain aspects are locked behind progression milestones in the main plot. During exploration, players can acquire gear by locating treasure chests. The Revelio spell supports exploration by acting as a scanning tool to discover secrets. Players may use the Floo powder to fast travel around the map or can fly with a broom. Development: Hogwarts Legacy was developed by Avalanche Software, which Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment acquired from Disney in January of 2017. That same year, Warner Bros. Established the publishing label Portkey Games to manage the Wizarding World license. The Escapist reported that development started around 2017 or 2018. Hogwarts Legacy was Avalanche's first project unrelated to Disney Interactive Studios and its products since 2005. The game was developed by using Unreal Engine 4. J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, was not directly involved in its development. However, Warner Bros. Acknowledged that her literary works served as the basis for all projects in the Wizarding world. The total budget was estimated at $150 million. Lead writer Moria Squire stated that the story was intentionally set in a time period without established Wizarding World characters, allowing players to explore their own unique world within a setting reminiscent of the Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts eras. The writing team focused on creating a diverse range of characters that players could relate to and see themselves in. While main Harry Potter characters do not appear, some familiar figures like Nearly Headless Nick and Peeves the Poltergeist make appearances. The team also introduced a trans-inclusive character creator and the franchise's first transgender character, Sirona Ryan. Boston Madsen, environmental lead for the creation of Hogwarts, emphasized the importance of creating environmental elements close to the source material from Harry Potter books. Madsen noted that although it is Avalanche Software's version of Hogwarts, the castle remains easily recognizable. Game director Alan Tu added that they aimed to go beyond the expected areas, encouraging players to discover new locations and hidden chambers. Tu and Madsen further explained that each of the 4 Hogwarts House common rooms were designed to offer a unique experience, enhanced by distinct music for each house. Their overall goal was to create a welcoming atmosphere that fosters a sense of nostalgia and belonging. Lead designer Troy Levitt stated that the studio had the flexibility to select the elements that fans would be most enthusiastic about. He added that Hogwarts Legacy was designed to give the fans Wizarding World experience they always desired while reading the books or watching the movies, without promoting any particular agenda or message. Game designer Troy Johnson explained that advances in modern technology and gaming consoles made it possible to create a competent game based on the Wizarding World. The open world was designed with 2 primary goals: to offer players overall freedom and to provide opportunities for crafting a highly personalized experience. Artists Jeff Bunker and Vanessa Palmer noted that they focused on 5 technical pillars: 4K graphics and visuals, 3D audio, activities and game assistance, the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, and fast loading times. They referenced the use of the Unreal Engine, the computing and rendering power of the PlayStation 5, and the Niagara visual effects system to deliver the visual effects of spells and magic. Music. Chuck E. Myers, J. Scott Rakoczy, and Peter Murray composed the soundtrack, including additional tracks by Alexander Horowitz. In the behind-the-scenes video, Murray and Rakoczy commented on the creation of the Hogwarts Legacy soundtrack. They explained that the challenge of its creative process was to balance the original composition with the existing music of the Wizarding World films. In one of the songs, Overture to the Unwritten, was released ahead of the soundtrack. The song was performed by Seven Springs Symphony Orchestra and Choir as a live capture of a 54-piece orchestra. In December 2022, the soundtrack's release was announced for February 2023. It was released as 2 digital double albums totaling 75 tracks: Hogwarts Legacy original video game soundtrack and Hogwarts Legacy study themes from the original game soundtrack. The soundtrack also saw a vinyl release mastered by James Plotkin and distributed by Mondo. On the 25th of June 2023, the Hollywood Bowl hosted a concert in celebration of the 10-year anniversary of the Game Awards. The event featured a range of video game music from recent years, including Hogwarts Legacy, and was performed by the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra. The concert was presented in partnership with the Los Angeles Philharmonic and conducted by composer Lorne Balfe. You may have noticed that I was missing a roof piece from this set. I did fill out the missing brick form and received the roof brick 3 weeks later. This build was completed while I was at home recovering from an ankle surgery, which is why my table setup may seem a little bit different, but I also built this huge set on the table that it was going to be displayed on. That way I wouldn't have to try and move it later. I remember when the Harry Potter books were becoming a phenomenon. as I worked at a mall shop that sold the books, among other things, at the time. Therefore, I have a nostalgic fondness for this series. Total build time today, 16 hours, 11 minutes, 13 seconds, which means you could watch Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone at 152 minutes, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets at 161 minutes, The Prisoner of Azkaban at 142 minutes, The Goblet of Fire at 157 minutes, The Order of the Phoenix at 138 minutes, The Half-Blood Prince at 153 minutes, and 68 minutes of The Deathly Hallows Part 1. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Remember to like, subscribe, share, ring that bell, all the things for the YouTubes. Thank you.